Because when you're single, it's about you. What is going on, YouTube family? Anisu here. Thank you guys so much for joining me for yet another video. And in this video, as you guys could tell from the title up above, I'm going to be talking about how to get over your ex. And don't mind if I have this is lipstick and I'm just too lazy to get up and wash it off. So just don't mind that. What are you doing? These are tips that help me to get over my ex and my relationship, and I'm going to be referring a lot to this person just because this was the most recent relationship that I got out of. So these are things that, help me in order to get over this person because it was really hard. So the first thing that I would say, okay, if you want to get over somebody, if you want to move on from your ex, this is the first thing you have to do, period. You can't move on and do all this other stuff that I'm going to say until you do this first part. Cut off all communication. I mean, all communication, phone calls, texts, just anything, any form of communication, anything that will, bring you and that person back into just talking all the time. I am one of those people. I do believe that exes can still be friends. It's just the communication has to be very limited, especially after a breakup. That's one of the main reasons why it was so hard for me to really get over him, was because we thought we could still talk the way we were talking when we were together. Me and my ex were friends before the relationship. So coming out of the relationship, we still had that friendship, we still had that connection and that chemistry. So I feel like we didn't want, even though the relationship had died, the romantic part had died, we still didn't want the friendship to go too. So I think that's kind of why we maintained that level of communication. But we both got to a point where we were like, okay, we have to, because the feelings aren't going anywhere at this point, because we're still talking, we're still engaging. And here's the thing, especially when you're fresh out of a relationship, right? What do you think you guys are going to talk about? Of course, you're going to sit there and relive the good times, relive memories and stories and things. Oh, remember when da-da-da-da, remember when we went here, remember when this happened. So when you do stuff like that, when you kind of play the past back in your mind, it's going to be so much harder for you to move on, because you're thinking about all of this stuff that happened and you're just kind of I miss the good old days. You know what I mean? Communication has to be either cut off or severely limited. The second piece of advice was not applicable in my relationship. But I've heard a lot of people tell me that when they came out of a really bad toxic relationship, and I've also heard this from a lot of people who came out of bad divorces, and they would say what really helped them to move on was praying for their ex. I know. That's just so mind-boggling, because especially when you come out of a relationship, and especially if there was a lot of pain and a lot of hurt, the last thing you want to do is pray for this guy or this girl, right? But something about praying for people who hurt you, generating positive thoughts towards them, not harboring that anger, not harboring that pain, something about that really does help you move on. First of all, it shows maturity, and second of all, it just helps you to release that person from your heart completely, and it helps you release that person from your mind, and any anger, any pain, that person might have on you, you let it go. You let it go. The third piece of advice I would give is to, what did I say? I forgot. I shot this video twice, you guys, so I'm trying to figure out what my third piece of advice was. Okay, so the third piece of advice would be, and these are all in kind of in order of what you should do, in my opinion. So after you've cut off or limited communication, after you've prayed for that person, genuinely got on your knees, prayed to the Father, and said, Lord, I want this person to prosper. You gotta mean it. You gotta, it's gotta come from your soul. Don't be, phony with it. Oh God, I guess bless them. Some girl from the internet told me to pray for him, so I guess I'll just, whatever, I guess he can be successful. Like, no, you have to really like, Father, I pray for this man's business. I pray for da-da-da-da. I pray for him to prosper. Like, you gotta get in there and really pray for this person, okay? The third thing, so after you've done all that, then you can come to the third thing. And the third thing is to work on yourself. Do you. This is the time for you to be selfish. This is the time for you to really discover yourself. And again, and because like whenever you're in a relationship, it's really hard for you to just focus on yourself, and it's really hard for you to just work on yourself, because you know it's about a we, it's about the two, it's about the union, you guys, we, us. Again, you can each do your own reflective, you know, individual work, of course, but like it's harder to do that because you're so focused on getting the relationship together. On the bed, by the way, if obviously, I mean, duh, but so if I'm bouncing, that's why. Take this time, okay? Take this time to focus on yourself. When me and my ex broke up, I was writing music again. I was working out again. I was, you know, focusing on eating right again. I was just focusing on my goals, writing down my goals, what it is that I wanted to do. Even though I was really doing all that stuff before, I just kind of feel like when me and him broke up, it gave me like, okay, I need to just focus on working out. I need to focus on my future. I need to focus on da-da-da, because I don't want my mind to be occupied with thoughts of him. I always tell people this, and this goes for women and men. Whenever you get out of a relationship and you want to get over somebody, the best way is to work on yourself and to figure out who you are and to, you know, plan for the future and to do stuff for yourself. Be selfish again, you know, be self-centered again, because now again it is about you. Just be so occupied with yourself. When me and this person broke up, I was like, you know what? Why? You know, yes, give yourself time to be sad. I'm not saying just, you know, move on like that. No, you know, I grieved and I had my days of feeling really upset. But, you know, shoot, I said, you know what? I'm going to take myself shopping, okay? I'm going to change up my look, okay? I'm going to work on my music. I'm going to get this body right. Because when you're single, it's about you. Now, we're on to the last step. I don't know if this is 4 or 5. I lost count, y'all. I lost count. But the last step is to give it time. That's it. Drop the mic. Give it time. Give it time. I feel like, especially like with us, like the younger generation, we're so, you know how we say like, oh, on to the next one. I know I've said this a couple of times with, you know, whenever I was in like, not a relationship, but more so like a situationship with somebody and it didn't work out, well, on to the next one. And I just kind of feel like even in situationships, even in relationships that don't necessarily last a long time, you still need to give yourself time to get over that. Don't entertain anybody else, okay? Because, you know, they also say, man, there's a lot of bad advice just floating everywhere. Like, you know how they say like, oh, especially for women, they say in order to get over one guy, you have to get under another guy. No, I'm here to tell you that's some BS, okay? It takes time. It's going to take time to get over somebody, but trying to speed up the time it takes for you to get over somebody by entertaining another relationship, whether you're just entertaining them or you're sleeping with them, that never works. And I always see people get themselves in a situation where before you even got over this relationship, you're already into a whole other situation. And it's just like, no, give yourself time. Give yourself time to get over this person. You're doing yourself a disservice. All of this is a process. And I just feel like people don't give all of this stuff enough time. You don't give yourself enough time to move on. You don't give yourself enough time for your heart to heal before you move on and potentially get heartbroken again. So yeah, guys, those are my 4 or 5 tips. I don't know how many I gave, but those are my tips on how to get over a relationship. Now, again, this is kind of reflective of what I did Now, if you have any other pieces of advice, any other, useful tips that helped you get out of a relationship or get over a relationship, like, comment down below, because I would like to know. And I'm sure other people who watch this video will want to know too. Yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching.